I lost my dad when I was 4 years old. I'm 32 now, so it's been 28 years now since he passed away. And saying the word dad it's a very strange word to speak out loud because I just have not been able to say that word to someone. And I have two memories from him. The first one, and I actually don't know why that one is so deeply ingrained in my brain. It's a simple memory. It's just where he's lying in the couch and holding me in his arms, and he's like throwing me up in the air, and he's laughing and I'm laughing. And I know exactly still which couch, which color, where it was placed in their house. And the other memory that I have from him is when the cops walked in our house, a man and a woman, to tell my mom that he died in an accident. And I know quite a few details out of that day. I was playing with my cousin, and then the cops walked in. And then I have like moments out of that day that I very vividly recall as well. I know that my family doctor was there. I have this image in my head of my mom screaming and crying and, just hitting the window with her hands because she couldn't believe what happened. Just one of the easiest guarantees that you can give to someone is that life is going to throw very unexpected things at you. And life is going to be very, very challenging at times. Dealing with loss, it's a kind of pain like no other that cuts your soul. And the intent of this video / episode is just that I wanted to share what I've learned, some of the insights, some of the realizations. If you just lost someone, I hope that maybe in this video / episode, there's something that I can share that might ease to a degree some of that pain that you're experiencing right now, or at least make you feel slightly less alone in this pain that you're experiencing right now. In the last couple of episodes that we did on the podcast and on the YouTube channel, I dedicated a series of episodes on loss and grief. In these past episodes, I chatted with a couple of other people who also lost someone. Then I also talked to a professional, a mental health professional. After watching this video / episode, if you want to learn even more about loss and grief, I can recommend you to check out those episodes, and I will place them in the description of this episode. I want to start with a very big realization that I had last year. So last year my dad turned 65 years old. So my mom came with the idea that she wanted to throw a party for him. I mean, it was a party for our bigger family, and it was actually the first time since he was alive that we all came together to celebrate his birthday, which, I mean, it was a very unique moment, and in a way also kind of uncomfortable, you could say. It's quite of an emotional topic, and not everyone is so open in our family to talk about the pain that his loss has caused. So not everyone talked a lot about him, but there were some stories being shared, and just the fact that people came together for him, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. What just really came to me during that time was that I was so surprised, but like so surprised how much it still hurts when I think about him. The realization that I had is that the pain is never going to disappear. That pain of having lost that person is always going to be there. However, you learn to live better with the pain. Now, of course, I think not every day about him, right? There are days where I just don't think about him at all. And then there's days when I think about him. And those days, it's not like I break down and start crying all over and, that I completely go numb. No, I again, I can live better with that pain, but it still hurts whenever I think about him. I mean, how can it not hurt? Even years, even decennia later, how can it not hurt when you think about someone that you deeply cared and loved? Of course that's going to hurt. But again, you do learn to live better with the pain, and you will not constantly think about that person, right? But when you do think about them, it will hurt. And in a way, that's so normal, I think, when you cared and loved someone. Now, the second insight that I want to share, and it builds actually on the first one that I just shared now. It's beautiful that it hurts because it just means that there was a lot of love. If that were not true, it would not hurt so much. Knowing this might actually be even extra painful. I think it's good for me to also just highlight that part about pain, because often we just look at pain as something that we want to get rid of and want to run away from as fast as we can. But if you run away from that pain, you in a way also run away from the love that's actually hidden within that pain. So whoever you lost, the fact that it hurts so much when you think about that person, it's actually beautiful. Painful, but beautiful. It's beautiful because it's painful. Because again, it's painful because there was a lot of love between you and that person. If we move to some kind of a, I guess, practical insight, it's to do something with your pain, to find an outlet for it to exist, and to find healthy outlets where it can exist. So I'm not a great singer at all, but I do like to write songs. All my songs that I write are very sad songs. And not because I go around through life being sad and all, but it's just a place where this feeling of hurt, this sadness, this anger towards what has happened, where it can go to without judgments. And in a way, I can take it out of me and place it somewhere else. I mean, many of the instrumental pieces that I create, they're all very, sad in a way. And again, it's not because I'm just a sad person. No, it's just there is sadness in me, and this is an outlet for me, music, where that sadness can exist in another form. And I think in general, like something creative, like something artistic, like writing or painting or writing a poem or music, like in my case, are beautiful outlets for pain and these feelings of hurt to go towards. And actually, also one of the people that I chatted with in, one of the episodes in this series of Loss and Grief is Frank Watkinson, and he's a YouTuber. He's actually quite of a known musician. All of the cover songs and original songs that he plays are very sad. And he also shared in that chat that I had with him that it's because of that same reason. It's not that he goes around life being sad the whole time, but his music is for him a place where that sadness can go to. Inner Path Seekers, this platform here, this support platform on mental health, exists because of my dad. Doing something with the pain, I find it very important as a piece of advice, I guess I could give, because then that pain can become something more than just merely pain alone. And for example, with this project, it has become meaning, a way now for me to be able to help reduce to some degree the suffering and pain from others going through their mental health journey. Otherwise, if you don't do anything with it, if there's no outlet, a healthy outlet for it to go to and to exist in, or for you to do something more with it, then it's just going to be pain alone. And often what happens then is that we find rather unhealthy outlets. Another thing that I want to share is don't run away from the pain. Keep talking about the person that you lost. Whenever I talk about my death with someone, I feel like I'm taking some, in a way, steps forward in this process of integrating, of having lost him in my life. And it's a lifelong process of integration or of integrating that. But each time when I do talk about him, I feel like I'm taking some step forward. The worst thing that you can do is to kind of shut off that person or to not talk with anyone about them anymore because you just don't want to feel that intense pain. But actually, that's what exactly makes it intense. The fact that you don't talk about them. I mean, of course, it's going to spike up feelings when you talk about them. The more and more and more you do it, it's going to be in a way less extremes, and the more there can be other feelings than just only sadness. There can be happy thoughts about it as well after a while, about that person. And one of the people that I also talked with in the series of episodes on loss and grief was Phil Cohen, who lost his son. And he also said it, that he often just says like, Perry, who was his son, would have found this hilarious. And in the beginning, many people found it kind of weird or didn't know how to exactly respond. And then people also just, found it more normal and would also point out things that his son would find fun or funny. And it just, in a way, normalizes the experience more. If we just don't talk about the person that we lost, it's some kind of a ghost or something that has happened but can't exist. But it has happened. Talking about that person with others is actually going to be the road where it's going to be less painful through time. The last thing that I want to share is that it's lonely. It's lonely to lose someone. We often say to others, you don't have to do this alone, or you don't have to go through this alone, and that person might mean it. But as a society, we fail miserably at not making others feel alone through the process of grief and of having lost someone. I mean, sure, in the beginning, people might check in a few times, or might check definitely in with you and how you are, but give it a year or two, it doesn't happen anymore. And that's not per se the fault of the individuals, because, life goes on and they're busy too. But it's also just because the topic of loss and grief is just so hidden. For something that will happen to in everyone's life, everyone will lose someone. For such a big topic, it's insane, I think, that it's so kind of hidden away, right? We talk very, very, very little about it, and that makes it very lonely. That's what I mean, that I feel like as a society we fail miserably at being there for each other through loss and grief. We don't talk about the topic, we don't talk about the people that someone has lost even years later, more in a way casually, you could say. There are no rituals really in the Western world for us to have a chance to talk about those we have lost. There are very, very, very little chances and moments to talk about it. In these 28 years, I have had very, very little conversations about death and about having lost my dad. I mean, besides with my mom and my sister. And not because I don't want to do that. I'm actually even craving, in a way, to talk in a deep, meaningful way about this. It's just, again, in our environment, there are very to no places almost where it's kind of provoked that, like, oh yeah, let's talk about this. Now, why I'm saying this is just, I am sending out the biggest virtual hug I can your way. It's not easy to go through this, and it is very, very, very lonely. We should do a better job at being there, like, truly for each other through this process of losing someone. Not just only when we just lost someone, but years later as well. If there's something, right, that you want to put off your chest, then don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to check in with you. I'd love to more know about this person that you lost, and I will try my absolute best to reply. Creating this video and having done this series of episodes on loss and grief really has put the topic of having lost my dad way more onto my mind, and has made me think way more about it all. And it also has made me take steps to actually go and sign up to a support group for those who have lost someone. And I have not gone yet. It's happening in a couple of months. This could be an invitation right now for you to perhaps also take a small step to go and do something that could help you move forward through the process of integrating the loss that you've experienced. And that could be seeking maybe someone professionally, or a support group, or a book, or a bunch of podcast episodes, or anything, right? See what step you could take today to do to help yourself a bit more, to not do this all alone. All right, so those were just a few of the insights and realizations that I have from these 28 years of having lost my dad. I hope that there was something useful in this video / episode. If you want to dive even more into this topic, check out the past episodes that I've done on loss and grief. And I can highly recommend actually the one with licensed clinical social worker Bridget Sumser, who has over 10 years of experience working with those who are about to die and working with families who have lost someone. Like that interview that I did with her, I've actually learned so much myself. So I can highly recommend that episode. And I will place it in the description. Or, of course, any of the other ones, of the other conversations that I did with people who also lost someone. I think there is also quite a lot of recognition that you can find in them, and hopefully also support. And the last thing that I just want to share, if you have also lost someone years ago, perhaps you might have also come to the same realization like I did, that this wound is actually a lot bigger still than I initially thought it was. I just want to say that that's okay and that's normal, right? Isn't that in a sense also to be expected, given how massive it is to lose someone? We're also left quite alone in dealing with all this. Don't be so hard on yourself. I definitely am guilty of that, where I felt or where I thought that I should have been already further with all this, in a sense. It's not a race, right? It's a process, and a process takes time and steps, and it's never too late to start working on this healing, or to start or to continue working on it again, right? It's never too late.